Hi, hello. Happy High Holy Day. Happy Day of Atonement. Um, Start off with the number of babies in here has increased again by one. Because when they've been tearing that fence wire out there that's supposed to keep them out of here, Rutabaga, who's over there hiding in the corner right there. Get out of the way, wouldn't you know it? Anyhow, Rutabaga right there facing away from us next to Daisy. Boy, you are just wanting to get in my way, aren't you, you little snot? Anyhow, she jumped over. In fact, what's funny is she jumped over, then she crawled out, ran around in panic mode, then crawled back in, and she's been quiet since. So, however, whatever got in her little head, she's over here now next to Daisy. Daisy used to be in the pen up there. I don't know if they've become good friends or what, but they're the lowest on the totem pole anyhow. I had several times where this little idiot here, Waffle Iron, got his head stuck in the feeder. Hopefully he's gotten over that. He's a Waffle Iron. You hopefully are a little smarter. So the number in here went from 8 to 10. When that was from originally, it was 9 when Gretel was in here, but Gretel's not in here now, so she's and then there's Raindrop up there. So in here there's only 6 now because of the fact that Chestnut and her baby got out. And so then them two. So 4 left up there because that was 10 and this was 9. Then it was 8 and then 10 again. And then this went for, they're musical goats. What can I say? Now, since the last rain, of course, our fields are nice and green. This area has still recovered just a little bit of grass despite Gretel eating on it. I still haven't picked my mature, ripe wild grapes yet, but I will, God willing, after the holidays. Of course, there's Mr. Snookums and Mr. O'Malley out there just kind of standing there as if they were having a conversation, but they're just standing there. Mr. Snookums, what you doing? Yes, Mr. Snookums. He's like, I'm not going to look at you. Anyhow, so, because I was not able to get the fence installed like I need to, I had to do something else over here. You'll notice there's cement blocks over here now. I dug out all the muck and slime and manure and compost that was in here. It was too dangerous to actually, let me close this a little bit, turn on this light, give ourselves a little more illumination. It was really too dangerous to get in here. And so I cut a whole bunch of manure out and I put these blocks in here so that it steps. Now, I was going to take this out, but 1, they've kind of pinned it in place. But 2, it's a lot safer and handier for the moment for my the lady that takes care of us. And now she's got firm, solid, stable area to walk on. And then for the moment, the feed box that was out in the field is in here. So instead of going all the way over here through the room to feed them with them running her over, all she has to do is just reach over here and she'll be able to feed them. Here's a Sally. Here's a good deal. Yes. These are actually sisters, technically. Or cousins. Because I think Jill came from, and this is Snowflake. Well, hard to mistake him because his ear got beat up. And then Rutabaга's brother, didn't jump out. Candy, their mother, didn't jump out yet. Here's a Candy. Anyhow, so that was a short-term safety situation to make it where people wouldn't slip and fall and get nasty and yucky. I was not able to get a full batch of feed this month because some people screwed up the way the banking and everything went on, and it ended up I just had to get enough feed to get through the Feast of Tabernacles, which will be back about 18 or 19 days from now. And there's enough feed in the hopper over there and in these bags here to achieve that. So that's where we've got the temporary food situation. This is some of that dirt and rock and manure that was in there. I put it over here, partly because it's too much work, partly because I didn't have any better place to put it, partly because this has been eroding down over time, so it doesn't hurt to put it in here and fill it back up some. And then Gretel, she's eating her hay over here. I find that not only does it reduce how much manure I'll end up with cleaning out of the milk room, but also it's less work dragging it around because it's that close to the hay over here. So it's less work for me and less work for our friend who takes care of the babies for us. So these gift, I guess they were gift, anyhow, I think they were. The spices seem to be doing pretty well considering the fact that they were dug up, left out to dry for a long period of time, and after that they seem to be all right. This geranium piece may or may not root. That was a piece that the goats bit off of the other geranium, which is inside the house now for the winter. Now whether it'll survive, nobody knows, but it had one leaf on one little piece of stem about that long, so I was like, well, can't hurt to put it in the dirt, so I did. Because it was laying over there where that other stuff is, just loosely in the dirt and stuff, and it still just somehow, I thought, you know, it'd be a shame for that to be left on its own when it might recover. Now I picked all the big cucumbers off of here. There's more big cucumbers already coming. I mean, in fact, the thing is, as soon as you start picking big ones off, the little ones decide to take their place. Trying to get enough fingerlings for Mom's dietary needs. Little bitty ones that... So we will be leaving tomorrow morning. And when we do, see, like there's a fingerling right there. And maybe it will have grown up some. You know, but if not, we'll just pick it out so that she'll have it whatever size it is. This thing has finally, this nearest tomato plant, has finally decided to put on not one, but two more new tomatoes this past couple days. So it is, I think I'm getting the right one. Yeah, that's the right stem. So it had put on one before, now it has three. It's got the really snarly looking one deeper inside, and these two bright fresh looking ones out here. This cherry tomato thing, I don't know how many the squirrels might get to while we're gone, but instead of having racks of 10, it's got like racks of 30 and 40 in some places. It's just flowering like there's no tomorrow. And so it's just loading down with tomatoes. The cotton, I've already cut one off. The cotton balls are maturing. There's one here, and then there's one here, and then there's one inside that's already open. And we're going to collect the seeds and see if we can't replant more cotton. This basil's growing to beat the band. It is really doing its thing. One thing I'm going to do before we leave, though, is I'm going to put some magnesium sulfate on everything, so that everything's got, it hasn't had any of that in a long time. I've given it wood ash. That doesn't tend to have much magnesium in it, really. Has some, but, and then, you know, hopefully, I'll probably put a little wood ash in there too. I don't want to get it too overly alkaline. Some of them don't do well with alkaline soil. I don't remember which ones. But anyhow, we'll get that in place, hopefully. Over here, this one, that I can tell, has not yet put on any new fruit. It put on 5 fruit the first go around. It's flowered a little bit the second go around, but it hasn't really, it just really isn't seeming to put on much except vegetative growth. Not even much of that. The Roma, on the other hand, has really been putting forth. And you can see the bright yellow green from the dark green. It's got a lot of vegetative growth, but it's also got lots and lots of flowers, and it's setting fruit too. So, and it's still got 3 of the older fruit from the first round. So it's growing pretty good, and it's flowering pretty abundantly, and so its potential to make more fruit is certified. It's going to put on some more. I think there's one right there, 2. So it's kind of hard to even keep up with how many. So they're doing right well. Again, more of these little spices, whatever they are, they seem to be doing well. They're adapting to repotting without too much transplant shock. The bell pepper is going slowly, but it's been flowering and setting fruit. Like that one right there, and a couple up in here. And this, where it's been bitten off, is regrowing, and it's got new flower buds on it. I'll sprinkle some more phosphorus on them before we go, just so that they still have some chance of flowering. The strawberry has been flowering, and it's set some fruit, but it's been going really slow. I don't know if it's because of lack of sunlight, lack of heat, lack of moisture. I don't know. I mean, I do water these now every other couple days, but like, there's another strawberry through the wire there, if I can zoom in on it. Yeah, there's a strawberry. Looks yellow on the camera, but it's not. I don't know. Everything looks probably a little different on the camera than it does in real life. But anyhow, so they've transplanted well enough that the ones that didn't die before being potted are still alive and still growing. So we shall see what we shall see. Hopefully one day they'll propagate. They put out runners. The first runner they put out, the goats bit it off, ate it, so that was no good. The asters are getting out. I know I mentioned before that the blackberry appeared to have died. Apparently, I was potentially wrong. Apparently it didn't die, and it was just hidden. So it put out a little stalk. The stalk got bit off short, but it's not dead yet, so we won't write it off as a loss. Hopefully, Yahweh willing, it will come ahead and go ahead and continue to live. I don't know if there's a known lifespan for these thornless blackberries, but that one's near 40 years old. It's at least 35. The wild black raspberries, the goats have been chewing on them, but they haven't obliterated them, because Mr. O'Malley and Mr. Snookums get over here, and of course, been eating up the persimmon shrub, which is fine because I have to cut it back otherwise, because I didn't want trees over here in my ultimate game plan. So for them to eat the tops off of them is good, and at the same time the stray random fence wires protecting the Rose of Sharon from them. And the Rose of Sharon, they've been eating off the old leaves, and the Rose of Sharon's putting on new leaves just like nobody's business. So, you know, most of them have been enduring. They'll all need to be transplanted at some point, even the big one. That'll be the hard one, because it's often harder to transplant big plants without having transplant shock. It's going to be a deal. But that ain't today. So, of course, the rain brought up, I don't know if you can see there, that little haze of baby seedling grass. That all came after this last 3 inches of rain come up. So, having this extra grass growing is encouraging, even though it's a seasonal grass. I think I made a mention before, but I'll mention it again, that the Dusty Millers have been flowering. And I didn't even add any phosphorus to these. This is the first time I've ever seen Dusty Miller actually flower. And several of them, the bigger ones that you see here, have flowered. What that means as far as the population of Dusty Miller, I don't know. They may or may not suddenly become a swarm, which is fine though. I mean, they're an ornamental plant. They've been eating the bottom edges of the apple tree off. I'm pretty sure we got absolutely 0 apples this year. Not exactly the best day for me to go over looking at apples since Day of Atonement, and we're not supposed to be eating anything, so if there is one, I'll probably, oh, I see one right up there. There's a lone apple here or there. Yeah, really gnarly looking apple. Let me see if I can. Dark red. When it looks terrible, it's all chewed up and bug bitten. It's the only one I can see on here at this moment. This tree just hasn't done very well these last couple years. They broke one of the branches off of it here. It was one of the, quote, sucker roots that I was hoping to propagate. It's technically still alive by the barest margin. There's one leaf on it, but it'll probably die before I get around to doing anything with it. I'll prune a lot of this inside stuff out, and hopefully when I get the boys all caged back up, my plan is to put all the girls that are not related to Mr. Snookums in with him. Well, I mean, they all are not related to him. All the ones that are related to Mr. O'Malley in with Mr. Snookums this year. And then the 3 that are not related to Mr. O'Malley will be in with Mr. O'Malley for the time being. There were 4 more before they died, but, well, they're gone, so I can't put them in with him. Is it 4? Yeah, 3 for sure. Anyhow, so there should have been at least 6 does for him, but for a fact we had, 4. We lost 4. So there should have been 7 does for Mr. O'Malley, but unfortunately that turned out to not be the case. Actually, we sold one because she was really old, and I figured, well, if she was going to die, might as well be by something other than us having to dispose of her. So, sadly as it was. And I don't even think Mr. O'Malley was the problem. It was the bucks that was the problem. But she was really old and she wasn't doing very well anyhow. So, hopefully we'll just get more new blood in that'll be Kiko instead of Boer, because apparently Boers are highly prone to diseases and stuff. This little pecan tree here that will hopefully, I'll probably bring it in, I don't know. I'll have to find out if I need to bring that in for the winter or leave it out, maybe leave it with a mulch or something around it to keep the roots from freezing but allow the top to freeze, because it is a seasonal and it is designed to go into a dormant stage. This is the steel that I still have to work on the fence. I just pulled it off the truck because I had to go get feed and stuff. So, but when I get back, I'll be working on the fence again. We got the front 2 tires replaced on Pony for the trip over to Myrtle Beach, since Mom's car is not presently available. In fact, it looks like we might be able to use it by Passover, but it's not going to be available before January probably. So, but these 2 are the front wheels. It's got new ones on there. Also, I was able to fix the transmission problems. They were super simple fixes. One was that the previous filter draw that I was given, the filter that had been on it when I last changed it, was too short. I knew something was up, but I didn't realize, because I've never worked on 4L60Es before, but that was the wrong draw tube for that transmission, wrong filter. So, the lady at the Twin Lakes Auto Parts says, "You want the long one or the short one?" I'm like, I didn't know there was a difference. And she says, well, there's 7/8 of an inch difference. I mean, that's a lot of difference. And I thought, well, I'd had problems with it before, so surely that could be a part of it. And also, I'd replaced one of the shift solenoids on it because it was broken. And lo and behold, when I went in there to change out and it had decided to not shift right after all that. Well, it turns out that the retainer clip fell out. So I was running around, like getting on this hill, it goes, up and down here, sucking air and then taking. And that was because they had the wrong inlet filter. And then you get on a highway, and it wouldn't get out of 3rd gear. Wouldn't go into 4th gear, and it wouldn't clutch in the torque converter brake. Well, that's because that solenoid had just popped itself back out when the spring fell out. So when I had in there and changing the transmission filter, I put the retainer spring back in the transmission, and lo and behold, it runs like new. I mean, it runs, I say like new, like it should. It runs proper. And, well, it still needs the clutches replaced on it because it wore out real bad from all this bad shifting and stuff. It needs new clutches. But it should be all right for a while now. Now, getting back down here to the question at hand is, let's see if there's anything left of our... All right, we've got a little bit of life left in our little blackberry transplant. So, Yahweh willing, it'll be here. I've got a little bit of moisture in the ground because of my little watering rig. It's meant to be slow drip, and trust me, it is a very slow drip. It's only gone down an inch since the last 3 inches of rain. There's probably water in here too. So this is 8 gallons, this is 5 gallons, but obviously you don't add 5 and 8. You get 8 gallons plus a teeny little half-inch rim, or less than that, half an inch rim. Yeah, about half inch of extra water in there. I don't know. I look down in there and I don't really see any water, so maybe it only catches it when it rains. Again, these are wet. Not that it gains a lot of water, but if dew falls on them, it concentrates, and that's the whole idea, is that they're little fins to catch moisture blowing across here, and at the same time, this also can catch a little moisture just because it's plastic, but at the same time, it keeps, well, leaves from falling in there. That's pretty much what it's there for. And then the rock in the middle is just to keep it. It does two things. One, it holds it down, and one, it keeps bigger chunks of material from falling in the hole and filling it up. Now, yes, things can blow in sideways when the wind's real strong, or if just a random, fluke of a fluff of a breeze. But for the most part, this will catch a certain amount of moisture. And see, these are wet. I don't know if it's evident, the reflectivity of it there, where it's moisture. So it's gathering some dew fall. And so the idea is by having the airflow around there and gather dew fall, is self-filling watering container that just keeps the moisture high enough. That thing almost died from hardcore dryness here at one point during the summer. That's part of the reason it don't look very good. Part of the reason, though, is because of either goats or grasshoppers or deer. Things were eating the leaves off. That's why that aluminum cage is over it. Aluminum mesh and screen wire, and then some galvanized steel cage. Going back to look at this thing, it is not dead. In fact, not only is it not dead, to my delight, I can say that it's got new growth on it. It's kind of hard to point at the new growth. You see it there? Yeah, there you go. It's got new growth on it. I was really worried that it might be being killed by whatever was causing this tree to go brown. And it could have been, but it could have also just been dehydrated. In other words, the 3 inches of rain that we got may have made all the difference in the world. This thing here, this has got new growth on it, this rose. So, yeah, this rain that we got turned around some of the plants that were struggling real hard. So I'm very delighted to report that. So, yeah. Things have happened this week. Now this is going to be my last report of any kind until we get back from the feast. One, I'm not going to do much video work at all at the feast. I'll bring a camera, but I'll probably not really use it much. And the other is, there'll be people there that probably don't want to be on camera. And number 3, I'm not really going to have internet connection because the laptop that we're going to be bringing doesn't seem to connect to the internet very well, and it may not even be usable. We'll be bringing it just on the hopes that it might be usable, but if it is, it won't be super usable. And number 4, I have to transload all that stuff onto the computer using data cables and stuff, and I don't know if I really want to hassle with that. So any and all footage that I get, if I get any at all, will be probably after we get back, and it'll just be kind of if there's anything that I consider worthy of recording. Because for the most part, it's going to be, again, private conversations with members of the church that wouldn't go well for public consumption on a channel like YouTube where there's a lot of atheists and people who hate people. And yeah, some of my religious friends are both either genetic, well, mostly genetic, but or past were converts to religious denominations or types of beliefs that are really disliked. Not Muslim, but others. I don't have any Muslim friends, and it's not because I don't like Muslims as people. I just don't have anything in common with them. But so yeah, the fact that we observe the Sabbath, kind of people think that we're of other groups than we are. But the Sabbath is in Genesis long before even Abraham was born. So that's a eternal mandate of God, not some religious preference based on somebody's individual beliefs of whatever they have grown up in. Anyhow, so yeah, nothing new over here, unfortunately, to report on. I was hoping to have this well house up by now and the fences up and everything, but they're not. So for the moment, all I can say is thankfully they have, there's somewhere them blocks came from, by the way, that I was using on that safety thing. I just realized I didn't have it all the way out. So yeah, no news on that. You can't see it, but one thing I did do is I cleaned all out the carburetor on this thing, so hopefully it'll run. I'm putting no more than the gasoline or anything in it, but I had it soaking in carb cleaner and turbocharger cleaner to the best I could get it to be, and then I went and used a little acetylene torch tip cleaners to go in there and make certain everything flowed. So hopefully when we get back I'll be able to use this. And of course the cement mixer's here for that job, like that sand and gravel is. Haven't done anything with my recent hematite collection there. Haven't brought it down to the rest of it. But oops. It might be hematite too, but it might also not be. Set it there. It looks like it. So, no mining to have been recorded, unfortunately. Much of the things that my label, my account say on there, have been completely not done at all. So maybe in 2026 I might do some of those things. No promises though. But in the meantime, I'm going to get all dressed up and ready for services. We don't travel for this day because it's so stressful. Otherwise, we would potentially be going up to our nearest group congregation. And, does anybody know what kind of flower that is? I don't know what it is, but it's really pretty. I did want to mention, since I'm over here, that the mountain bog gentian over here has somehow, they are one tough little flower plant, because they've had their top taken off twice this year, and despite that, the little critter is still alive. How long it'll live further, I don't know. A lot of the little ones that were popped up here, I don't see them anymore. I don't know if the goats or the deer or somebody ate them, or if the drought killed them, but that one in there, this is its third or fourth year that I know it's been here, so hopefully it'll carry on and make a lot of new ones or something. that's everything. And so we'll see you some other time in the future. And until then, shalom, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your holy day if you're observing the holy days. Either way, we will see you at a later date.